Hi everyone, you reached Chronicles of the Gray Hair Diva, and this is your first time, welcome. If not, welcome back. For all you out there, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so that every time I upload a video, you will be notified. Hit the like button, chat with me in the comments, and when I get an opportunity, I will chat back. And share my video with your friends and family so that they can come to my channel and get to know me also. I'm here today with my recap, my take, my opinion on the Real Housewives of Potomac, the latest episode. They're in season 6. This was episode, let me just double check, 12. Reasonable or shady is the question at hand. So I'm going to go through each scene with you and let you know, do I feel it was shady or do I think it was reasonable? I'll tell you up front, that particular episode was like 99.9% shady with a pinch of reasonable. But let's get into it. So we start off with the shade from Karen because her business partner comes over to her home and she's bringing the prototype of Karen's new candle that is coming out to add to the La Dame, line. Empire. So she brings over the candle, she brings over the other fragrances, in a nice package. It's beautiful packaging. So Karen is off to a great start in that sense. She also has enough packages that she's gonna bring on later to give out to all the ladies. But Karen mentions yet again how her candle is 3 wicks and Wendy's is 1. So shady. Okay, now let's move on. Let's talk a little bit about Mia. She threw a whole lot of shade, and her shadiness is she called Candace's video shoot low budget. Let's say this. Was the budget low in comparison to all of these artists that are out there and they have maybe $100,000 plus to shoot a video? Yes, it was. But in terms of an artist that is not signed to anyone right now, who's kind of independent, not bad at all. So she had to use her friend's luxury cars in order to shoot her video, and the video was shot in a parking lot. Not bad. She did what she had to do. So, carry on, Candace. But it was shady, what Mia said. So next we have Giselle. With this is very shady, okay? Having the event at a construction site, which is her home, okay? So they send out invites, Giselle and Robin, because they want to have a launch party, so to speak, for their new podcast that's coming out. It's called Reasonably Shady, okay? And they're saying that Robin is the reasonable one and Giselle is the shady one. So, they want to have this, event. They send out the invitation to all of the ladies to come, and the event is happening at Giselle's house. Well, in Giselle's front yard, driveway, something like that, because Giselle's home is still under construction. Well, first of all, their invitation was shady, but I get it. It's a nod to the name of your podcast, so we can get over the fact that the invitation was shady. But the shadiness of it all is you having this event in your, driveway, and you actually have construction going on at the same time. It's one thing for your home not to be finished. And it's one thing for it to look like a construction site and maybe you are having an event there, but you stop construction on that day. No, the contractors and the workers were at her home the day of the event, and they're outside trying to have this event, and all the noise from the contracting is going on. If anyone else in the group would have dared had an event like that, Giselle would have shaded them to no end. But she had the nerve to have her event at this construction site, and it was like, okay, that was shady, but Giselle is shady. And not only was it shady, it was unreasonable. And I wondered in my head, why couldn't the event been at Robin's house? Is both of their a launch party? Is both of their podcasts? Throw the event at Robin's house where there's no construction going on. Not the new house that she's building, but the house that she's currently in. not understanding why the vet couldn't be there, but only those two know. Someone needs to ask them the question, okay? Another shady moment where Giselle pretty much revoked, took back the forgiveness that she did the last week at the goddess party to Wendy and Karen. So as she's talking to Robin about the event and how it's going to be outside and everything that she's going to do, she mentioned that she will not allow Wendy and Karen to come inside her home if they need to use the bathroom. So you have an event on a construction site outside your home. You're not renting a porta potty, but if someone has to go to the bathroom, and if those someone's happen to be Wendy or Karen, you're telling Robin up front that you're not going to let them in your home. Well, Robin, she stays, on, I'm going to be nice, on Giselle hip. But Robin will speak up when she needs to. Because Robin said straight up, I'm not co-signing that. So there we give one to Robin for being reasonable. She was like, I'm not co-signing. You inviting someone to your house, and you extended forgiveness to them. Now you pretty much taking it back and saying they can't use your bathroom. And Giselle talked about because they talked about my home. Well, don't invite them. Don't invite them. But anyway, we had some shady from Giselle and a little bit of reasonable from Robin. So let's carry on, okay? And I thought it was shady that, Robin didn't have it at her house, okay? Karen constantly making this comparison between, the 3-wick and the 1-wick candle. And Karen also said that, she pretty much has hers all together and ready to go. And, pretty much said that Wendy is not together yet. But she also told Wendy that the candle industry is pretty much $1 million business. So there's room for the both of them. There's room for her 1-wick, and there's room for Giselle's 3-wick candle. It's shady. Karen's being shady. The Grand Dame is being shady, but it is what it is. And I will say this, Wendy is taking it like a champ. She's taking it like a champ. You can tell she's a little pissed about it, but it's nothing she can do because Wendy's not ready. Wendy doesn't even know how much it costs to make her 1-wick candle. She doesn't even know how she wants to brand it, sell it, or what's going to be her whole umbrella to build her empire. So Wendy is still in the infant stages of her candle, and Karen has moved on. Hers is about to be on the market. So Karen won this round. I'm sorry, Wendy, but Karen was being shady, okay? So the other thing is shady. This part was shady. Dot, Candace's mom, being shady towards Candace's husband, Chris. Okay? She tried to act like when Candace asked Dot, her mom, I heard something was going on. Mia was talking to you at the video shoot and saying, wanting about Chris and his money and this, that, and the other. So she asked her mom, what did she say? Her mom pretended like she did not remember what she said about Chris, okay? Which is very shady because she knows, the mom knows she doesn't like Chris. I don't think she ever will like Chris. And unless Chris hits the lotto, all of a sudden has a restaurant and builds like a chain of them, I don't think the mom is ever going to be happy with Chris. But it is what it is, and she was being shady, okay? Another thing that was shady is Candace talking trash about Mia's mom. So I get it. It's almost like in high school, right? When someone pissed you off so bad and you don't know what to say to them, the first thing that used to come out your mouth, and I don't even want to say high school, I want to say like grade school, is that you would be like your mother, your mama, because for sure that will most likely piss them off. But Candace is an adult. If you can't find any better words to say to someone when they piss you off, just don't say anything. But to say your mother to Mia, she probably doesn't know at this moment Mia's story and with her mom. But whether she did or did not, I think Candace saying, your mother to Mia was messy / shady, or a hot shady mess. So we'll continue on. I'll tell you what was reasonable. So we got a pinch of reasonable in here. Reasonable is when Candace was talking to her mom, Dot, about everything that went down at the video shoot. Chris comes in the kitchen. Chris comes home and he's like, what's going on? And, so they start to talk to him, and pretty much Chris let Dot know. He said, listen, you never paid a bill that had my name on it, okay? And the insurance that, I'm not going to, and I'm paraphrasing, rip your daughter off, is we have a prenup. So there it is. So to all the people out there hating on Chris, saying, pretty much he's like a gold digger or he's living off of Candace, I hope you're happy to know that the man has a prenup. So get off his back, leave him alone, because this is the man that Candace selected. This is the man she chose to be in her life. So y'all gotta let her live with her husbander and let them live their life. And now it's good to know they have a prenup, but I'm going to give a reasonable little scratch or tag to Chris, because I think him saying that to Mama Dot was reasonable. So let's carry on. This was super shady. It was like shade at the highest level. So Mia goes out with her mom, and they have an ice cream social, I want to call it. It's Mia, it's her kids, it's the husband, and it's her mom. First of all, let's give it up to the mom for even agreeing to engage with Mia, on the screen like this. Because she doesn't have to, okay? And then, anyway, she doesn't have to. So she's engaging with Mia. Mia's talking to her. Mia is pretty much, I'm going to say, upset, emotional about the fact that her mom spends more time with the sister that she lives with. Come on, Mia. She lives with her. Spends more time with the sister that she lives with, and is catering to the sister that she lives with. And Mia feels like, where's my time? Well, several things. First of all, it's shady because I don't care who you are. If you live with someone, by design, by mere design, because the fact y'all live together, more time is going to be spent with that person, okay? So it just happens to be now it's this mother and daughter living together. The sister has children. So Mia's saying, her mom is like a living nanny. Well, maybe she is, but what's the problem? I'm also not understanding the dynamics. So Mia's mom was in jail. Apparently she got out, and when she got out, she went to live with the sister. Maybe that's another bigger piece of their connection. I didn't quite get whether when mom got out, if she had the option to go live with Mia and her husband, but she chose to live with the sister. And if she did go choose to live with the sister, maybe she chose to live with the sister because the sister was single versus Mia is married. And, her mother knows, like, your husband got your back. Let me go help your single sister. So there's a lot going on there. But the bigger picture of why I'm saying Mia was being shady is because, one, your mom is there. 2, your mom is trying to have a relationship with you. 3, your mother has apologized over and over again. Can't change the past. We can only deal with the now. And the now is your mom is trying. She is proud of you. She said it. And she wants to build and have a better relationship with you. Let it go. The other shady part is they asked me about why her mom went to jail. At least she didn't tell that, but she did say that her mom was originally sentenced to 20 years in prison. Don't know what the heck the mother did. I don't think I want to know. It is what it is, but my prayers and heart goes out to that entire situation. But during that situation, Mia was being shady. So let's carry on, okay? So what was reasonable, I think another part that was reasonable is, like I said, the mom apologizing to Mia. That's reasonable because, listen, the mom acknowledges, listen, I was a hot mess. You had a hot mess of a mother and a father, Mia, and you turned out to be something great and better. And her mother acknowledges that, and that's reasonable. She can't change who she was. She can't change what she did. She can't change the fact that Mia was in the foster system. The only thing she can do is try to build something different this moment moving forward. Okay. Oh, here we go. Here's Shady. Shady is a scholar out of nowhere. She's speaking. She has been very laid back, very meek, very mild, like the whole season so far. And then all of a sudden at the reasonably shady event, she speaks out, telling Mia pretty much to shut up, didn't call Mia a hoe. Where all that come from, a scholar? That was shady. Because it was out of place, out of pocket, and out of line for her character. I thought it came out of nowhere. In my mind, I was like, okay, did the production speak to you and tell you that if you don't kick this thing up a notch, you're going to be out of here? Because her whole new persona was very shady and it's out of place and it's not her. It's not the her we were seeing all of this time. She's getting shadier. Is she getting more comfortable with everybody and the ladies? Maybe, but she's definitely getting shadier. So that was shady. So what was reasonable was Mia bringing up the fact that, Giselle was being shady. How you going to say we're all forgiven, we're starting off a new slate, and then you turn around and you send out your shady invite to your to launch your event, and they didn't really know because the invite didn't quite say, so they didn't know. They was taking guesses as to what the invite was for. So if you don't know that they had this podcast together and they're calling this podcast Reasonably Shady, when you get the invite does look shady and suspect. And knowing that you'll have fractured relationships within the group, the invite should have said, listen, don't get sensitive about the name. We're having a launch party for our new podcast, and it's called Reasonably Shady. And that's why we wrote the invite that way. But they didn't. They just sent it out. The ladies were speculating, and it was a whole hot mess. But I give it to Wendy. Wendy had every right to say something about it, and she was being reasonable. Okay? So this is shady. This gets a little shady where Wendy decides she's going to have a couples outing. Okay? And it's shady because she knows good and well that one, Giselle is not coupled up with anybody right now. She also knows that, Robin and Wong, I don't know, is he going to show up? Would he come? So she kind of has an idea of what couples will not be at this couples event, but she threw it anyway. And after little luncheon, a whole lot of shade. Matter of fact, the ultimate shade is when she said to Giselle, you and your luggage can come. So it was super messy. But you know what? Wendy for the win. Wendy is one of the only people that I've seen stand up to Giselle and actually has Giselle, like the cat got, like the mouse, the mouse get the cat's tongue, or whatever that little saying is. She trumps Giselle every time. When Wendy starts to shade Giselle has no comeback. Now, the minute Karen opens her mouth, even to this day, after, they apologize to each other, she still claws at Karen. I'm talking about Giselle. But honey, when it comes to Wendy, she just sits there, and the best she can do at this event was like, oh, Wendy, get out my house. Honey, no, Wendy shades her all day long, okay? And Karen has no comeback. So it was shady of her, doing this couple trick that's going to happen the next episode. But hey, that's what Giselle gets, right? So I think I said it was already said it was shady that Giselle's throwing this party at her construction site. But not only that, she didn't really have a whole lot of food at the party. And she was eating all the food. I didn't really see anybody else eat. I saw a couple of people take a drink. I didn't really see anybody else eat. But it was like a cheese and fruit platter tray. It wasn't much. I was kind of shocked. But anyway, yeah, shady. No real food, just a hot mess, under this tent in your driveway. And then, the driveway was narrow, so once the cars lined up, they all lined up behind each other. Wendy couldn't leave anyway. You're kicking her out of the driveway, but she couldn't leave because Candace's car was blocking her in. So a hot mess. Okay. What was reasonable? Here's what's reasonable. Listen, Wendy, how is Wendy the best dressed? How is Wendy the best dressed at Giselle and Robin's event? I thought that's kind of messy, right? But I really thought that Wendy looked absolutely flawless. Listen, I'm not into this plastic surgery, but I will say that Wendy is a good poster child for it because I don't think she went overboard. I think whoever did her surgery, she's flawless. And I think she was fine before that. So maybe that's a part of it too. But she didn't go overboard. She absolutely looks wonderful. And she was dressed really well for the launch party. And then the next thing that I really loved, I loved Candace's shirt. Candace's shirt was absolutely cute. Other than that, everybody else was and Robin and Giselle was definitely for their own event, and it has nothing to do with Robin's foot, being broken or whatever, her cast that she had on her foot, just her whole outfit and even her hair. I didn't really like, Giselle has beautiful hair. I don't know why she doesn't wear it more, but I get it. I sometimes understand a little bit because it can get frizzy, it could whatever, but her wigs though sometimes it still doesn't. I don't know. I just think for that to be their event, they was not the best dressed. So we carry on. It was shady. Here goes shade. It was shady when the Grand Dame was giving out, her gift packages to everyone with, her candles and, her whole line, her whole home fragrance line. Wendy was sitting there. She was pissed. She was a tad bit pissed, but what are you gonna do, Wendy? You got a long way to go in terms of your production, your development, your packaging, and just building up your brand. So just take this as a lesson. Take that package home, and I'm not saying copy it, but get some ideas and then tweak it so you can get your one wick candle out there on the market and perhaps in some stores. Anyway, let's carry on. The ultimate shadiness was that party game. That party game was just a hot flaming mess. But the messiest of questions for that party game was the very last question, where they're still stuck on digging and taking digs at Wendy. When you're going to ask a question, is it reasonable or shady when you have a girlfriend that changes her body around the same time that rumors are out that her husband is cheating? Come on. Super shady. But once again, Wendy came back with the clap back, and she said, well, is it shady if a blog is talking about you having a STD and you keep mentioning that? Well, okay. Giselle was like, and I don't. She was like, okay. So Wendy held her own. They keep plucking at her, but Wendy knows how to pluck back. And she got a little mouth on her, and she knows how to use it. So it was a lot of shade going on at that little launch party. But the game was probably the shadiest of them all. Okay, I told you that I felt that Candace top was super cute. We talked about how Mia was messy with the mouth, saying that the video shoot was low budget, okay? Her and Candace got into it. And I'm kind of over that and sick of that too. And And then I told you about that, and Giselle telling Wendy to go. Oh, that was shady. When Giselle told Wendy to just pretty much get out of her house, okay? And then I do believe that, you know, Wendy needed to go, but the whole event was just a hot mess anyway. And we end the event pretty much where, you know, Wendy is leaving, Grand Dame Karen is leaving, and I want to say Ashley is leaving, and then Candace gets to see the inside of Giselle's house, and she was, Ascala was kind of following behind them, and the pavement actually to where they was walking wasn't the worst, okay? But anyway, Ascala backed out, which was super shady, talking about, oh, I'll go when you actually, you know, she didn't pretty much say this, she said this in her confessional, you know, I'll go when the road is paved and it's a better condition, okay? So she didn't even walk down the path with Giselle and Candace to go see the inside of Giselle's house. You know, they're ragging on Giselle's house, but I will say this, the inside I thought looked absolutely beautiful. Everyone does not know how to decorate or can decorate, and that's why they have interior designers. And so if you really want things to go a certain way, you know, maybe you need to get an interior designer. And I will also say this, I think knowing how to dress, it has nothing to do with money. It has everything to do with just something in you, with some style, with some flavor, or maybe get a stylist. And I think at this point, to be very honest with you, Giselle needs a stylist. And listen, Robin can use the stylist also because, like I said, their outfits for their own event was just a hot flaming mess. The last thing that was so shady and unreasonable was, come on, Giselle, why would you even let, and well, you know what, I'm gonna say Giselle and Candace, why would y'all even let Grace, a new driver, back the car up so that everybody can get out? So while Candace is touring the house and her car is blocking everybody from leaving, they give the keys to the beautiful Grace, okay, so that she can back the car out. And then she had the most unreasonable person in the car with her. Okay, Robin gets in for support, and Robin is no support at all. The girl scratched up the tire on the car. It was just a whole hot mess. It was shady for Giselle to even let Candace give Grace the keys. She should have been like, I would have stopped. I'd be like, no, don't you give my son them keys. He just started driving. And if something happens to your car, I'm not paying for it. So it was shady of Giselle to even let it go down. But it was nice and reasonable of Candace to trust the new driver, even though when she came out, there was a little scratch on the car. But you know what? It is what you signed up for when you gave the new driver the keys to your ride. So overall, that reasonable, shady episode was 90% shade and maybe 10% reasonable. I actually did enjoy it. It was better than the week before, and I am looking forward to next week's episode when they go on this couple trip. I think it's sad and dreadful that Mia and Candace are not getting along, but what can you do? It seems like always somebody is getting into it with Candace, or maybe Candace is getting into it with them. Candace has calmed her mouth down a lot, but not enough. So thank you guys for watching. Chat with me in the comments. Don't forget to like this video, and I'll see you in the next video.